I always say delay is not denial. After 3 years of waiting, I get a chance today to start the journey to achieve a dream that was born over 16 years ago. And I also get to visit the 20th country of my life on my journey to visit 50 countries before my 50th birthday. So join me and let's journey together. I am traveling to Canada today, but to get there, I have to go through the Netherlands and the USA. For someone who loves traveling, I hate sitting around airports during layovers. So you can trust that I'll be leaving the airports if there is enough time between my flights to explore the cities.
Hello.
It is said that being able to make it through a long haul flight in an economy class is similar to finishing a marathon. That means I'll be running 3 marathons the next 48 hours. As a passenger, if you want to handle less stress whilst in economy sitting, you must prepare ahead of time and put your plan in action. As most of you know, long haul flights in economy class are not the most comfortable in the world, and upgrading to business class isn't a viable choice for most of us. That is why along this journey, I will share some travel tips to help you survive your next long haul flights in economy class. So look out for them because I know most of you will be traveling for more than 24 hours to Canada too, if you choose to migrate or study there. Tip number 1 is to dress comfortably. As a passenger on a long haul flight, you should maintain a relaxed and unassuming demeanor going to your flight, as you are not there to impress anyone. I have seen people on long haul flights all dressed up and made up, and I wonder why. In fact, it is good to pack layers in case it gets cold. Bringing a cardigan or sweatshirt is always useful to have on hand, just in case it gets cold, and most times it does. On this trip, I am dressed to stay warm as most of my time will be spent sitting under air conditioning on the flight. I got to the check-in desk 5 hours before my flight, as according to my bathroom scale, my bags were more than 2 kg overweight, and I didn't want any surprises during check-in. My luggage allowance was 2 bags of 23 kg and a hand luggage of 12 kg. My advice is that you talk to the check-in agent if you have a long layover so that he can check all your bags in, including your hand luggage, through to your final destination. That way you don't have to drag a heavy hand luggage around the airport. I did that and I was able to have all my bags checked into my destination, allowing me the freedom to travel light. At the check-in, the KLM official asked for these documents to allow me travel: my passport, arrive can, port of entry letter, and proof of vaccination. Then I filled my departure declaration cards to be submitted to the immigration officer at the immigration booth. Tip number 2 is to check in early. Didn't get seat 22A? Don't panic, but don't wait until you get to the airport to check in for your flights either, as you can secure your seat online. During the usual 24-hour check-in period, keep an eye on the seat map and refresh it regularly. Something better could easily pop up at any time, because if you're able to secure a window seat or aisle seat, the quality of your flight will be significantly better. After going through immigration, I had to also go through security checks. Security screenings are mandatory. For this process, your items are placed in a tray and x-rayed to search for any dangerous goods or prohibited items. Items in these categories differ from country to country, so it is important that you research custom laws for both your destination and all transit airports. Tip number 3 is to choose your seat wisely. Don't pick your seat assignment blindly. The golden rule when it comes to seat selection is best seat for minimizing effects of turbulence, a seat over the wing. Best seat for peace and quiet is a seat near the front row. Best seat for legroom is the bulkhead seat or the exit row seat, but just know the pros and cons when you choose the seat. Best seat for sleeping is a window seat in the bulkhead row, that's behind the barrier. I recommend making your seat selection a priority. After all, you don't want to end up smack up in the middle of a 3x4x3 configuration or next to the lavatory, do you? Security queues can be very long, so prep for your screening to be as quick as possible. Some of the things that you can do before you get to your security checkpoints are: remove your jackets, belts and all metal items. Empty your pockets. Make sure your drinking water bottle is empty or it may be confiscated. Put everything including your documents into your bag. Place your liquids and gel bag with your laptop in the separate tray. Proceed through the metal detector and comply with any random searches, be it pat down, x-rays or back searches. My checklists that I use when I get to any security to ensure I don't encounter any issues are: make sure that I have all my identification and travel documents in an accessible yet secure location. I do not accept anything from anyone before boarding my flight. I pack all my bags by myself and know exactly what's in them. My bags are never left out of my sight or supervision before they are checked in. And I also fill out all my necessary declaration forms before I set off to my boarding gate. At the departure gate, They rechecked and tagged our boarding passes, arrived and vaccination cards for quick boarding when it was time to board. Then the wait continues for the flight to be called for boarding. Traveling tip number 4 is to drink more water and stay hydrated. When it comes to humidity, plane air is pretty low. In fact, some studies estimate it's between 10 to 20%, which means it's quite drying. So it is better for passengers to make sure to drink lots of water whilst on a long haul flight. My advice is that you can buy yourself some bottles of water after going through security, even though nowadays they are not as stringent on coming with your own bottle as they were before. At exactly 10 p.m., our flight was called for boarding, and based on my seat selection, I had to wait for my zone to be called for my first leg of this long trip to start.
This is a further boarding call for all customers traveling on Delta flight. DL157 flight should please board.
Please complete special formalities and to the Panama Airport.
We were warmly received on board by the KLM crew, and we were flying on the Boeing 77 by 300, which is one of the most reliable planes flying today. It has the highest schedule reliability of any airplane of 99.5%, which means this plane is always on time nearly all the time. So I knew this pilot likes speed, just like myself. As usual, the backseaters who were first to board were taking cabin spaces in front, creating a queue and delaying everyone. I finally found my well-selected window seats on the wings and ready for a good night's sleep. The window seat gave me the chance to keep myself busy with other airplanes whilst our plane is being prepared for flying and passengers find their seats. After that, it was time to browse through the in-flight entertainment to see what kind of distractions are being offered by KLM today and read the safety manual just in case.
For your own safety, keep your seatbelt fastened and whistle during the flight. Eating outside is switched off. To release the seatbelt, just lift the buckle. If there's a sudden decrease in
Tip number 5. Come prepared with in-flight entertainment. Aside from resting, the greatest way to pass time on a long journey is to engage in some form of entertainment, whether it's reading a book or watching a movie on the plane. Make sure not to rely solely on the in-flight entertainment system, and instead, you should bring your own entertainment with you just in case the in-flight entertainment system on the flight is not working or you don't like what is being offered. If you are traveling with a Kindle or a tablet, you may indulge yourself in downloading books, podcasts, shows, and movies from your home computer before you go. For 45 minutes into our flights, we were offered wet wipes to help sanitize our hands and a bottle of water to stay hydrated. Then it was time to pick my options from the movies being offered on the in-flight entertainment. I settled on Breaking In, as I love to watch Gabriel Union kick some ass. Before my movies could end, the crew were serving dinner. Today's options were chicken or lamb with white rice, coleslaw and some desserts. I was hungry after a long wait at the airport, so it stood no chance staying on my plate for long. Tip number 7. Do not settle for less. Pack extra snacks. Even on long-haul flights, airline food is not always plentiful, so it is crucial for you to eat well in order to maintain your energy levels. There is no need to go overboard. Just remember to pack snacks and eat them whenever possible. Tip number 8. Do your best to prevent muscle stiffness and pain. Minor aches and pains are typical when traveling, especially on long-haul flights. In fact, you may spend an indefinite amount of time sitting or standing, as moving around or stretching is difficult in confined spaces, such as in the plane. It is better to know how to prevent muscle stiffness and pain. Traveling can be less stressful with a little advanced planning. It is better to stretch more often, such as standing or moving around on the plane. Find an excuse to go to the washroom so that you can stretch your legs. Grab the opportunity to stretch whenever possible. Tip number 9. Make sure to eat less before a flight. Nothing will be more uncomfortable than flying on a long-distance international flight whilst experiencing nausea. Before boarding a long-haul flight, it is recommended to eat something light and non-greasy to keep you awake, or if you want to sleep peacefully. Before long, we were in the Netherlands airspace, so the crew served breakfast, something hot to keep us warm before we landed.
careful when opening your cabins as items may have shifted and could fall out. And you can now switch on the mobile services on your phone again. On behalf of the entire crew, thank you for flying KLM. It was a pleasure having you on board with us today. We wish you good stay in the Netherlands or a pleasant onward journey, and we hope to see you again soon. Welkom in Amsterdam, blijft u alsjeblieft nog even zitten zodra de verlichtingsstoelriemen vast uit is. Verlaat het vliegtuig een rij voor rij. En let u bij het openen van de bagagebak, er kunnen spullen verschoven zijn en eruit vallen. En u kunt u de netwerkverbinding op uw telefoon weer aanzetten. Namens de gehele crew hartelijk dank dat u met KLM gevlogen heeft en fijn dat u vandaag bij ons aan boord was. Ik wens u een goed verblijf in Amsterdam, wel thuis of een voorspoedig vervolg van de reis toe en graag tot ziens.
At 6:55 a.m., we touched down successfully at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. Amsterdam Airport is a busy airport, so it pays to be well prepared to avoid potential delays. There are no specific coronavirus safety measures in effect at the airport, so it is important to check the travel advisory for your destination before arriving at the Schiphol Airport. It is possible that you will need a face mask in the country you are flying to.
Hello, to the baggage hall.
This way.
Okay. I have a 3-hour layover. Is it long enough for me? I have a 3-hour layover. I have a
No. I would go straight to your
I attempted to leave the airport on my 3-hour layover, but any hope was dashed as I was warned that with the delays being experienced, there's a high chance I will miss my connecting flights. It meant that I had to go through the necessary security checks and protocols to get to the transit area to catch my connecting flight to Minneapolis. When at the airport, pay close attention to the displays and screens when you land to know your connecting gates and the times for any updated flight times or cancellations. No matter the country from which you are departing or entering, it is important to understand airport and airline safety and security. Remember to cooperate with airports, airline and custom officials. Some of the airport safety and security processes that are in place are: 1. Showing identification. Try to always have your passport easily accessible yet protected against theft. Be prepared to show your passport when presenting your airline tickets, receiving boarding passes, entering departure gates, going through passport control, or when boarding flights. 2 is carry-on luggage. Check with your airline to find out its regulations for what you can and cannot carry in your carry-on bags. Do not put any sharp objects like nails, scissors, razors, or pocket knives in your carry-on. Such items may be considered a threat to safety and could be taken away from you. Pack them in your checked baggage instead. 3. Accepting things from others. Under no circumstances should you ever take anything from or hold anything for anyone who asks you to do so. If anyone asks you, simply say no and walk away. Don't be afraid to say no to family and friends. You need to think about the potential consequence before you hold anything for anyone. 4 is watching your bags. Your bags should be in your sight at the airport up to the point when you check them at the airline counter. Once you have picked up your bags from baggage claim and are on your way to customs, be sure to keep a close eye on all your baggage so that no one but you have access to it. Fifth, random baggage searches. If you are stopped and asked to open your luggage, cooperate with custom officials. Custom officials often conduct random baggage searches. Just because your luggage gets searched doesn't mean you've done something wrong. Last but not the least is body searches. Airport security officials may conduct random body searches using electronic device they wave over you. In some cases, a security official of the same sex as you may conduct a body search using his or her hands and ask you to remove your shoes for inspection. Wow, 8 hours down, 21 hours to go. Canada, here we come. After a 2-hour wait, my flight to Minneapolis was called for boarding, and as usual, we went by zones. To board the flight to US, we were required to sign a declaration form in addition to the proof of vaccination that we are actually vaccinated against COVID. After checking our boarding passes and US visa, we were ushered on board. We were welcomed by the friendly KLM crew operating this equipment and directed to our seats.
Yeah, probably there. Okay. Yes, but it is
Talk to me nice, talk to me honestly. Look in my eyes, don't let it fall on me. Say you're a good guy, make me believe it. Don't wanna hear it, I wanna see it, rewind. When we rewind, feels so nice. We time, you I know how to make me feel
This
right.
plane was Airbus A330 with a 2x4x2 configuration. It is a reliable ultra-modern state-of-the-art airplane with an impeccable safety record. It has been said that there has only been one reported incident when an aircraft of this type has crashed. At 9:45 a.m. Amsterdam time, we took off and set for an 8-hour flight to Minneapolis, USA.
Dag dames en heren, een hele goede morgen. Mijn naam is Marcel van Amsterdam. En vandaag is het vliegtuig van Amsterdam naar Minneapolis. Ik ga namelijk de hele bemanning van harte welkom heten. Aan boord van ons weer.
Down, wasting my time.
will be switched off soon. However, we recommend you to keep your seatbelt fastened while seated. If you use a blanket, please fasten your seatbelt visibly over your blanket. And please be careful when opening the overhead bins, as items may have shifted and could fall out.
On this flight, they served us chicken curry masala with bread and salad, and I washed it down with some apple juice.
At this airport, you have to check out your luggage.
Yes, if you are heading to another destination in America, you first have to
Take
get
up
your
your
luggage.
luggage
Yeah.
and come and get it.
Oh, okay. I'm heading to Canada, so I have to check out my luggage.
Yeah, everyone for the connecting flight.
Okay, thank you.